Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity to talk today, Father, in the area of fundraising. We just thank you, Lord, that and within the ideas that are shared, Lord, that it can help the guys that are on here in their areas and implement things, because we know that what they're doing is helping other people. So we thank you, Lord God, that this will help them to help other people, God, and they will get as much out of it today as they can. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. So, man, this is exciting for me. This is an exciting topic. Revenue streams, and I named it revenue streams just because when you think of revenue streams, you're thinking about streams of money that's coming into your program, and then the ways that they're coming into the program. And so, just a quick background of myself. Um, of course, I've played ball, love ball, went to college, and after college, played ball in college. After college, I had an opportunity to play pro ball, but it was a little bit unconventional way that I played. So I actually went as an assistant coach first, and then that opened the opportunity for me to actually play. But during that time, we were in Denver, Colorado. That's one of the first places I was. I was also in Salt Lake City, Utah, with a team out there. And then I ended up with a team in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge. And this was back in the ABA. This was before the G League was around. So during that time, the early 2000s, there were NBA guys in the ABA, and they were moving up and down from the ABA at the time. So it was a little different. That was before the G League came along, or the D League at the time. So it was a pretty good league, but that's when I started to learn about what it took to actually run a team, the financial part, because I had never got, introduced to that. And so with that, I learned about trade-offs. I learned about sponsorships. I learned about the different avenues that you can present to a business that would make them want to give you money for. What did you have that they need, and what did they have that you need? Money. And so I started learning about it then, and it really started to pick up a little bit when I began to work. I was a program director at the YMCA, and so we dealt with youth, and I was able to, I had to raise money for my program. I had to raise money in a lot of different ways. I had to beat the streets. I mean, I had a budget, that I was given by my boss, but anything above that, what I'm saying, different things I wanted to do, I had to make it happen. And so, so I'm going to talk through that a little bit, some ideas with that. And then I had an opportunity to be a general manager for a pro team, as well as an owner for a pro team, for a general manager for 4 years and an owner for 3 years. And so, you know, especially in the ownership part, I had to raise the revenue to, run my team on. And so, per year, my team took about $150,000 to run per year. And I was in the minor leagues, but because of the things that I learned with trade and different things like that, I was able to run it off of about 60. And, just because I learned a lot about trade. And when you have something, especially when you have something that's thriving, or, in this case, if you have a sports team and you have a fan base, you have something that's valuable, that's like music to the ears for sponsors, because they want to know how many eyes are going to be on their product or their logo or and things like that. So you got to build that up. And so I'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then when I was in college, I was a D2 assistant coach and acting head coach at the D2 level, and I was a associate head coach at the D1 level, and I was over fundraising, more so at the D2 level, because I was the only coach. My head coach took a leave of absence. I became the acting head coach, and so I was over fundraising. I did everything, and so I'll talk through some of them ideas. And then when I was the D1 associate head coach, I was also over fundraising then. So that's kind of a little history of myself. Now, I really want to just help coaches and help people that are in the athletic realm that are looking to raise revenue. For me, it was a real thing when I was coaching, so I think it can help coaches, ADs, and whoever might be in the realm of finances, in terms of raising things. So I'm gonna start going down these ideas. If you got questions, please stop me. I am going to produce a PDF with these ideas on them. So if there's something you happen not to catch, I'll put them on there for you, and I'll get that to you guys along with the audio of this as well. So I'm gonna start going down these ideas. So one of the things that I did when I was at the Division II level, and I raised roughly $4 to $5 grand doing it, is I went down into our closets and I got out old equipment. We had tons of old jerseys. We had tons of old shirts, practice uniforms, pullovers. Like, we had some of everything in there. And so what I did was I created a catalog. And so I went down there and I took pictures of every single type of, if we had like a 1998 short set, shorts from the uniform, I took a picture of that. If we had another one issued the next year, I took a picture of that. So every type of, piece of gear that we had, I had it in this catalog. And then I had the sizes that we had in it. And then on the jerseys, I would have the sizes and the numbers so that somebody can surf through this. They knew exactly what we had. And so what I did with that is I took that, we sent it out to alums, friends, family, fans, faculty and staff. We sent the catalog out to students. We sent the catalog to even players, and so it was phenomenal because, especially during homecoming, we also had a women's basketball booth that we had a grill out there and we had a table. So it was essential for the alums that came back for homecoming. They came to the booth. They already knew the booth exists. So I actually, sent out emails to everybody and everything. And so literally during regular hours in the office, you have students coming by, buying gear. You have just fans, even players. You had old players calling in, trying to buy their old number. And it was all in support for, we were trying to raise money to buy a shooting gun. And so that's what we were targeting. So that was kind of like the pitch that we had kind of hanging out there and say, hey, would you buy these gear items? And we're trying to raise our money to buy the shooting machine. So we ended up raising like $4,000 to $5,000 like in a semester to get that shooting gun. So that was just one of the ideas. And it was amazing because you would see players at games, step show and different things like that. They would have some of the old gear on, so it was pretty cool. So that's one of the ideas. If you have any kind of old gear that's, from the school that you have that's just sitting, I mean, literally ours was just sitting away, just folded up in totes and it was just sitting there. And I was like, man, that's money sitting there. So it was about $4 to $5 grand left. And after we finished that, and then I ended up getting another job, there was still more gear. You know what I'm saying? There was old shoes, like, how with teams you get like an allotment of shoes, and after everybody gets their sizes, there were shoes left. So we were selling shoes, like everything down there. So that's one of the ideas that can bring you, depending on what you have, $4 to $5 grand. And I think for us, $4 to $5 grand, because we were shooting for about 4,500. So there was times where we sold things and made deals just because we were trying to get to that amount quickly. So that can bring you a nice little amount of money. So equipment catalog. So let's go to the next one. All right. Parking pass. So naturally, you guys are going to have people that come to your game. So I'm going to couple these next two. You got parking and you got parking pass. So I'm not sure if you're at a school where you can charge parking. When I had my pro team, the first year we charged $2. By the time our last year came, we charged $5. And so, hold on one second. Gotta disconnect my earbuds here. All right. So by the time that last year came, we were charging $5. So you can get a revenue off of your parking, and depending on how many fans you are, that's how much sweeter that can be for you. So, even if it's $1, you know what I'm saying? But if you're not in a position, I know some institutions or whatnot can't charge, you know what I'm saying? So if you can't charge, this is one of the things that you can do. You can have a parking pass. So with this parking pass, you don't have to charge anybody to park. But I don't know if you've ever been to these events where in some of these events that you can actually parking's free, but they'll give you a piece of paper to say put in your dashboard to show that you're supposed to be here or whatever. So one of the ideas that I have with that is on a parking pass, you can probably fit, if you do something like a 5x7, or depending on what you do, you could comfortably fit about 10 logos on there. So what you could do is you can go around town and go to car specific businesses, Jiffy Lube, AutoZone. You can go to, Riley's, the tire places, anything that's car specific, and say, hey, I'm a head coach over here. I'm the athletic director over here. I'm the, whatever position you might hold, and say, hey, we have 10, 15 home games. We average this amount of fans. We average about this many cars per event. I want to offer you the opportunity to be on our parking pass where so many people will get a chance to see it. And if you have the analytics for that, you can share that stuff with them. And so, because like I say, the sponsors, they want to know how many eyes are on on what they are, on their logo. And so you go to them and say, let's say you get 25 at $100. $100 for me, when I did sponsorships of this nature, kind of like this, is real easy, especially for businesses that don't have big budgets, but it's just a way for them to get their name out there. And so you put them on this parking pass, and now when the people come into the parking lot, you hand them this parking pass. So the only thing that you would have to pay for is paper. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing you have to pay for. And if you're at a school that has that print for free option, you can print those things out for free, and you don't have any overhead, but you have $2,500 that you've made from this idea alone. So that's one of the ideas that is really amazing and easy to make money on. And like I say, $100, people can make that decision without going up the chain really quickly. So that's another idea that you can do. And this can be for sporting events. If you have any other kind of events, conferences, anything with a crowd, banquets or whatnot, you can throw those in there along with your sporting events and say, hey, we have 15 home games, but we have 10 other events that you'll have this as well. And naturally, people are getting it in their car when they're driving, they're thinking about car things. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those easy things to do. And like I say, if you charge for parking, then that's, an additional $1,000 for a season or whatever you might charge, for parking. So the next one, anybody got any questions so far? We good? All right. So can you guys hear me good? Good. Okay. All right. So here's the next one. And this is what I did this for my pro team. Every season on my pro team, we had a t-shirt sponsor, a t-shirt sponsorship. So we would have an official t-shirt of the Lima Express. And so we got this every year. It was pretty amazing because one of our sponsors actually donated 100 t-shirts to us, printed and everything. And so on the back of this official t-shirt, on the front of the official t-shirt, you have your logo, whatever. You might have your slogan for the year. And then on the back of the t-shirt, what I realized is that you could fit about 25 logos comfortably, maybe like a little smaller than the heart size on the back. So you go 5 across, for 5 lines. And so what you do is you go to, your different sponsors and say, hey, we're doing an official t-shirt this year. We're not only going to have our employees wear it or our interns or whatnot on game day, but we're going to be throwing them out in the crowd. We're also going to be selling them in our merchandise store. If you love to have exposure for the entire season, we would love to have you on the back of this t-shirt. So depending on your market, you can go as low as $100 per logo. You could probably go as high as about $250 per logo. And then another way that I sold this was I was able to put a link on my website that says t-shirt sponsors. And when I did that, I also hyperlinked their logo and their business website to that link, so people can go to the sponsors and say t-shirt sponsors, and we say thanks to our 2016 2017 t-shirt sponsors, and we'll have the sponsors listed, and you can click on it and go to their website. So to be on the t-shirt where people can see forever, as long as t-shirts are worn, and then on the website to get a shout out, that's roughly $5,000 to $6,250. And then you also sell these shirts, so you factor that in. So, this was an idea that I did every single year. Like, I did it every single year, and it works. And like I say, it's just something that businesses have sponsored dollars and marketing dollars. And when you come to them with amounts of 100, 250, I've never found it hard to get those amounts, because they're not like, you're not saying, hey, I need $10,000, I need $5,000. It's a very easy amount. So a t-shirt sponsor, that's one of the things that I use a lot, and like I say, that's multifaceted. Like, that is, you throw it out in the crowd, you get the sponsors on the back, you're going to sell them, so you're getting double revenue. You're getting the sponsor money from the back of it, and then you're turning around and selling it for 10 to 20 bucks or whatever your price point is. That's going to help you in raising money that way. So that's just one of them small ideas that you can really max out. If you're at a high school, if you're at a college, being an AD, you could do this for every program. You know what I'm saying? And if you got multiple programs, men's and women's, you could do this for every single program. So that's just one of them other ideas. Like I said, you guys got any questions? I'm just going through these things. So another thing is 50-50 raffle. All right. So I'll tell you guys a quick story. I used to go, when I owned my pro team, I used to go up to Cleveland Cavalier games. And a lot of times I didn't even go up there to watch the game. I went to learn. So one of the best ways that I like to learn is just watching. Like, I'll go and just watch and look and walk around. And a lot of times you can learn things by just looking. Like, you can just see stuff. And so I went and started walking around, just looking around, seeing what they do. And one of the things that I noticed is that, I thought 50-50 was like you do that at the local bingo, you know what I'm saying? Or, like a, church league or whatever. The Cleveland Cavaliers did a 50-50. So like at the end of like the third quarter, their 50-50 split was like $4,500. So whoever won the 50-50 got $4,500 plus an item. So like when I went to the 50-50 booth, there was things on there like a signed LeBron James jersey, or Mo Williams jersey, or signed team picture. So along with the 50-50, you couple an item that will make people want to buy a 50-50 ticket. So at the Cleveland Cavalier games, they had a 50-50 booth, and they had people walking around with electronic 50-50, like these I don't know, like the best thing I can think of is when you're like in school, and we used to go to school and they used to have these little ticket things where they'll punch your attendance in and let you in or something. You slide your card, the mobile things. And so that was what they had. And when you pay for the 50-50 with your card, they'll print you out a receipt with your name and number and how many tickets you bought. And so they were working it. It was like an engine. And I was like, my gosh, I'm taking that idea. So I went back and I duplicated it the same way. I would sell 50-50 tickets at games. I didn't have an electronic piece, but I had, some of my friends and some of the ladies that were helping with the team, they would go throughout the crowd and do 50-50 for 3 quarters. And then I would go to sponsors. So for instance, I knew a guy that was at this fireplace business. And so he had these different these portable fireplaces. And so I tried to couple a prize or something that was like attractive with the 50-50. And the 50-50 is brought to you by Kern's Fireplace. And so they would get sponsor recognition for donating this item to me and then the person that wins the 50-50 would get this item. So you get a free item. You can get your friends, family, reach out to people. A lot of people donate autographed pictures. I mean, I had the YMCA donating a free 3-month membership. The local hotels would donate a 2-night stay. I mean, there were just so many things like that you could get people to donate just to get them recognized. And if that's not enough, give whatever company donates a couple free tickets to your game. And so with my pro team, it was awesome because I had, it was pro athletes. I had, courtside seats, so there was a little bit of traction to that. So I had something that I could give to them to kind of coerce them to say, hey, you know what? We'll go ahead and give you this 2-night stay. So the person that won the 50-50, they won the 2-night stay too. So when we announced that during the game, they're like, oh, 2-night stay? Let me go ahead and give $5 for arm length of tickets, So that was an easy, for a season, that's like $5,000. If you got 10 home games and you get about $500 per game, you get 1,000, but your split is 500. For 10 home games, that's an extra $5,000, for the team or for your organization or for your school. And especially if you're like a high school, I mean, you're going to get a lot of fans. In college, in some colleges, you got to work to get fans, but some colleges, the fans are, like Coach Williams, you already know how our fans were. I mean, it was like an automatic, especially with big games. So, you can, those are the kind of things that you can do with the 50-50. All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. You got your concessions. All right. So I don't know in your different venues or whatnot, or events that you do, for my pro team, I control concessions. That was one of the things that I really tried to negotiate because I knew what kind of money it can bring in. And so, on the average, I would spend about $250 to $300 on concessions. And I used to go to Gordon's. That was my spot, get all the bulk items and stuff like that. And then I would either hire someone to do concessions, or I would have someone to come in and do like if I wanted to donate to an organization, that organization can come in and work the concessions that day. So on a good day, I could make about $700 to $1,000, and if it was a really packed game, I'd make over $1,000 in concessions. And so you take the $250 to $300 away, you're looking at $700 to $800 a game. And so I really tried to make sure I controlled the concessions because I could control how this thing was going to go, you know what I'm saying? And the revenue to come out of it. And, any kind of deals that I might do, buy a ticket and get a hot dog and a drink or whatever, anything that would make my event attractive. So you look at the concession piece, you're looking at about $5,000 a year, if you do it and if you're controlling it, or if you want to aim to control the concessions, and maybe with your institution that's already kind of, form fitted into what you do. Like, with my pro team, the venue that I was at, I had to kind of fight for it because they wanted it. And I'm like, hold on now, like I'm trying to, there's some things I'm trying to do. I think this will offset things. It will help us to pay you for the venue. So I kind of just talked to them and let them know and say, hey, at least let me get it for 1 year. Let me see how it goes. So it worked out to where I had it every year. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another thing right there. So any questions so far? All right, so I want to make sure this is pretty interesting to you guys so we can make it interactive as well. So I'm just kind of going through some of these ideas just to give you guys some different creative ideas that you may or may not have thought about. Hopefully some of these things will give you, some ideas on some other things, or kind of make you take a retrospective look into, your organization or your program or something like that. So I got a lot of them. So we'll just keep going. So merchandise, if you have been a school or team that hasn't really leaned into merchandise can make you on the low end at least another $5,000 a year. I had, I'll tell you, for a team that I was coaching for in college, they didn't have merchandise, and they had some kind of weird deal that the merchandise went through the bookstore. I thought that was like a mistake because, the teams were not benefiting from it. The athletic department was not benefiting from it. And so, to have merchandise, There's people that come to games, parents. They will ask me all the time, how can I get a shirt? Where can I get a shirt? There's always going to be fans. There's always going to be new fans. If you're in a school, it's always going to be new students. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come out with a different kind of shirt, they're always going to want the newest and updated, so merchandise. I mean, I had things from t-shirts, I had lanyards, I had dog tags with the logos on it. You can do headbands, bracelets. I had a vendor that made custom for the ladies, had my logo, but had it made in like rhinestone kind of thing, diamond looking things. And so for the ladies with a lady cut V-neck, there's just so many things because, it's part of your branding and people want to wear your brand. And especially if you're building your brand, they're going to want to, as you have people follow who you are and what you do as far as your team, it's your brand. And they're going to want to buy something to signify their commitment to, your brand. You know what I'm saying? So, and you got a lot of people that you can market this to. You have your faculty and staff, your visitors, your alumni base, your current student population. You got people that visit. You got potential students. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had people come and visit, like students that I brought on official and unofficial visits, that they wanted to stop by the bookstore and get a shirt. And we hadn't even signed them yet, or they hadn't even committed, but they wanted it. Or, your school, it might be a Wilberforce dad, Wilberforce mom, Wilberforce grandfather. I mean, this is so much you can do. You know what I'm saying? Wilberforce grad, whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much you can do. And if you commit to building that, and then you put somebody over building that, because you may have enough in your spectrum of influence, whether as a coach or AD or whatever you might be, you might have enough to do at that part. So I hear a lot of people, they don't even put time into it because it's like, man, I don't have time to do that. But the gripe is also, we don't have money. So it's just like, well, you might have to lean into one of these things. So that's just another idea because, to have that flow of revenue from merchandise and to have all those billboards walking around with your logo on it, it's a win-win, So that's just another idea. The next idea I didn't put a dollar amount next to, but it's building an alumni program. Building your alumni program and building your alumni database. The last two schools that I coached at, they did not even have one. Nothing exists when it came to alums. So one of the schools I was at, rich alumni tradition, very rich alumni tradition. I'm talking about very rich. And now I'm talking about financially. I'm talking about as far as how vast it is. So I ain't talking about like they're rich people or anything like that. What I was saying was very vast. So wherever you go, there was alums. Cities we played in, there were alums there. Alums always came back. They were proud to be alums of the institution. And so your alumni database, this is what I did when I first got to the school. And I kind of probably did this maybe a little bit after I got to my first institution. But when I got to the D1 institution, I did it immediately because I knew the value of it. And so what I did was I just started a database, simple spreadsheet, and started going down the spreadsheet and finding people. So how I found people, I went back on the website and I started going back through the rosters of every single year as far back as it could take me, which was 2008. And I started logging every single person's name that ever played there. And then when I couldn't find no more people, I started going through old media guys. I started flipping, trying to find names, like every roster. I documented every roster, every person of every roster that ever played, every coach. Like I want to know who everybody is that's been through this program. And so I did a spreadsheet. Address if I could find it, phone number if I could find it, Twitter, Instagram if I could find it, which a lot of people I had to go on social media to track them down. And I started calling, talking to people, connecting with them. One of the first events that I was able to connect with people and give them some kind of ownership to was homecoming. And say, hey, we're going to start doing things with basketball. We want you to be included. We'll have a table at homecoming. We'd love for you to come by. I started sending emails maybe monthly, just to let them know what's going on in the program. Hey, we got a big game coming up. We'd love to have you here. Or, hey, just want to thank you so much because you were the foundation of this program being built. Thank you for all you've done. And it makes alums feel proud to be an alum. They feel a part of the program, even though they're not in the program anymore. And what is their trigger reaction? Which I've had told to me, whatever you need, let me know. Hey, what do you guys need? Because you've showed care for them. You made them feel part of your program because they've been in the program. And so, and then most campuses or most schools may have an alumni office. So you could take advantage of that as well. So I was able to get names that I couldn't find and addresses from the office on campus. And then, you log those things, reach out to them. When I was in the D1, we didn't have a large budget to send out things, but I went around the arena and went to different offices, the soccer office. I went to the marketing office. I went to volleyball. I said, hey, what extra stuff do you guys have? You guys got any extra t-shirts? You got any extra mugs or whatever? So I made it happen. I gathered stuff and I would send packages out of different alums just saying, hey, was thinking about you, just wanted to send you something. And the response is amazing. And so they're like, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really put a dollar amount because you just never know what that could be. It could be a lot. It could be a donation for something. And a quick story with that, I played in Miami, Ohio. And so I reached out to them when I was a D2 coach and said, hey, my practice shorts are worn out. I got to still have the same practice shorts from when I played in 1998. I was like, hey, do you guys ever send out anything to alums or whatnot or whatever? And so aside of the stuff that they already do, which they send us stuff, they invite us back. I was a part of the Sweet 16 team that year. And so they always invite the Sweet 16 team back, which I haven't been able to go back yet because every time I get invited back, I'm coaching or something. And so I talked to them. They was like, cool, what's your address? Da, da, da. In the next couple of weeks, I got a big box of gear from Miami. I'm talking about the latest Adidas stuff, like hoodies, like sweet stuff. Let me see if I can show you guys. This is a couple years ago, but I got all kinds of stuff. And, it was a couple years ago, but just different stuff, man. I got a box of stuff. I'm talking about like sweatshirts, hoodies, shorts, like all kinds of stuff, man. And so it was pretty cool. And so I can't tell you how that made me feel. It was like, yes, you know what I'm saying? Like I rep my school, it just made me feel great. And so that impression that I had, that's the same impression I try to get when I do this for my alums that's a part of the program. And I'm telling you, a mug makes them feel amazing. An email, a call, and it doesn't take anything, but in turn, thousands of dollars can come into your program or whatever you're doing just by reaching out to the people that have been a part of what you're doing in the past. You know what I'm saying? So that's an amazing one. If I could put anything on the top of this list, especially with the sports programs or like the ADs or that have multiple programs, this alumni, I'm telling you, this is an answer to a lot of your financial issues right there because people want to give back, especially sports. Like there's heartstrings involved with sports programs. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's been 3 or 4 years since I got that box of gear, but I remember it. I remember how I felt. I ran through the office. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's another idea that I have there. So that's one of my favorites though, because then you get to interact with people and then other doors open, doors for recruiting. They're like, oh yeah, hey, my daughter's over here, she's averaging 25. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. You're an alum. That's an open door. You know what I'm saying? I've had a lot of things happen, man. So that alumni program, inviting them back, all that kind of stuff. That's an unlimited ideas with establishing an alumni database and alumni program. And you could go on Google, you can go on YouTube and look at a lot of the schools that do it. One school that's really good at it is Michigan State. They actually built an entire little wing for alums. Like when Draymond Green, there was a video on there, Draymond Green goes back to visit, they have an alumni locker room. where they have their own locker room where they can go in there, get dressed, do whatever, and come and work out. So they know how important it is. And I think Draymond Green might have built the newest weight room there. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can imagine that's probably a trigger reaction of how the school still appreciates him for his contribution and what he does and what he has done for them. So it's amazing, man. You have to have that. All right. So the next thing, anybody got any questions? Like, there's a lot of talking points in here, so we can open it up and talk about it a little bit too. A lot of stuff in here. So, all right. So let's go to the next one. A ball boy and ball girl program. Okay, I did this with my pro team, and what we did was we had about eight ball boys, 8 ball girls, so we had it mixed in, and we had 4 per bench. So like when the opposing team came, you have 4 of them down there, and so they would do things such as run the water bottles to the bench, fill them up, rebound the balls, sit on the bench. When a player goes in, they run to the scores table and grab their shirt. That kind of stuff. So it was a ball boy, ball girl program, and the cost for it was $50. And so with $50, you get a season ticket for a parent, because we always wanted to make sure when the kid came, he had somebody there or she had somebody there that was supervising the kid. We don't want a kid to just be dropped off and then they're under our care, and so a season ticket for the parent. Also, the kid had a lot of privileges, like locker room privileges around the players, all that kind of stuff. So we made a good package, and we charged $50 for it. And so, with 8 kids, that's $400. You add a couple more, that's $500. But here's the kicker: the ball boys and ball girls had a T-shirt. And so what did we do to the back of the T-shirt? We got sponsors. We got sponsors for the back of the T-shirt. So you could get sponsors for the back of the T-shirt for your ball boy and ball girl. And depending on how you go, if you go the route that I took with the T-shirt sponsors, you can get $100, 25 logos. There's $3,000 right there. 25 plus your ball boy, ball girl fee, which you're also selling a ticket with it. So you're putting a person in your seat as well. So that's another $3,000 that you can make just by doing a ball boy, ball girl program. All right. So another one that you can do, I know a lot of institutions or teams, they don't have tickets. They don't have tickets. Like, I know when I coached, there was like a list, or if there was a ticket, there was some kind of like ticket you can buy at like the dollar store, those tearaway tickets or whatnot. But here's the thing. I think that you could be missing out on a lot of money not having tickets, because I used to do something called ticket backers. So you ever go to an NBA game and you got like the Wendy's coupon on the back, or something like that, Subway, hey, after the game, go over here and you can get $5 off a pizza. Those sponsors pay for that. And so with the ticket backers, depending on how many home games you have, for me, my pro team played in a high school facility, but it had an NBA court and it seated 2,500. And so that was 2,500 potential tickets, which probably in a real good game, we probably went through 1,000 tickets. So we had 10 home games. That's 10,000 tickets. Okay, so I can take that number and solicit that to a vendor, a sponsor, or across the street. We had a pizza place. We had a Subway across the street. We had another restaurant behind us that was kind of like a hometown kind of restaurant. It's not a chain restaurant, but we had tons of restaurants in the vicinity. So you can market it. And then I did electronic tickets too. So when people got electronic tickets, they came in a different form. I was able to put more sponsors on there. So you can go to these sponsors and say, hey, we average this many people. We send this many tickets out per game in front of people. And you can name your price. I put 2,500 on here because realistically, if you got, I would say 10 sponsors that will pay you $250 for the season, that's 2,500 just to be on your tickets. Now, all this sounds cool. Like, I'm throwing it out there, and some of you may be thinking like, well, heck, how am I going to get people to agree to it? But here's the thing. This all plays a part, also with you building your brand. So if it's like 3 people come into your game, it's going to be hard to make this sale. So, you know, I'll probably talk about this a little later or maybe in another session, but I did so much at the college level, especially at D2, to build my brand and to build the fan base. So literally, you know, right now to this day, Central State University, the year that I was the head coach, has the top attendance for a season in the history of the school because we did so many things to make sure there were fans there. Like I wanted a crowd. I wanted it to be hard for teams to come there and win. I wanted it to be chaos in there. And so it's easy to go and say, hey, you know, we got so many fans a game. We need you. You need your support. Would you be willing to do this? And then especially if they could pull up a video, if you got pictures or they come to a game and see it. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're willing to put their logo on something. So, you know, ticket backers. That's another idea that you could use. So this could be anything that you and I know, Andrew, you're a coach, but I know you do some other things too. And then Coach Derek, I know you do, other things as well. You got events, end of the year banquet, all kinds of stuff. So you can turn this and either include it or you can do it separately because people are going to buy tickets for your banquet, or buy a table, 6 to a table. Hey, can you sponsor one of our tables? Whatever. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just tickets. It can be something else as well. So let's go to the next one. Team bowling event. So a bowling event. I love doing these. I did it with my team. And here's the thing. So people love to bowl, and especially when it's for a good cause, okay? So you got 12 players on your team. You might have 3-4 coaches or whatnot, athletic director. So you can easily get to about 15 to 20 people. And so the way you sell this is you say, hey, we're having a bowl-a-thon. We're having a bowling event. We're going to call it charity bowl or whatever some great idea that makes it sound like, just makes it sound good. You know what I'm saying? And then you put this thing out there. I worked in conjunction with the 2 bowling alleys that I worked with, and they were willing to give us a really good deal on lanes. And actually, they were able to give us free shoes, a pitcher of pop or 2 pitchers of pop, and 2 pizzas or something for $10 or $20 or whatever they do. And each lane will have 6 people. So one bowling alley I worked with, they had 36 lanes, so that's like 36 potential lanes where you could put 6 people on. So if we do the math and say, hey, we're going to approach company Andrew. Andrew got a company, and Andrew, I need 6 people. I know you're fans of the local team or whatever. Man, we need 6 people on Thursday night from your company that would be willing to come out and bowl. It's all going to a good cause. It's going to the school. It's going to this fundraising initiative. It's going to whatever you want to aim it to. We need to raise money for uniforms, or, we're trying to send water to Flint, Michigan, or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Whatever initiative, and say, hey, for $100 per head. So that'd be $600 per lane for 20 lanes, for 36 lanes, or we're going to get the mayor, we're going to get a celebrity from the Charlotte Hornets or whatever. However you want to do it to make it attractive for people to say, you know what, I'm going to go get on that lane because Coach Myron's on that lane. I want to bowl with him. Yeah, I'll pay $100. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to a good cause. So they come out for a couple hours, do that, and you do the math. You can raise like $10,000 to $12,000 if you do the 6 lanes if you do 5 people per lane, that's $500 right there. And then you multiply that times 20, that's 10 grand by itself. The money goes fast. And this is not saying that you can't get sponsors. So you can get people to sponsor lanes. You can do a silent auction where you get some of your jerseys that you used from the last year, get the team to sign the whole jersey and put it up there and do a silent auction. Start the bid at $50. You know what I'm saying? Get a team photo. Get some people in the community to donate some things. Get them to donate a free 2-night stay. If you have an amusement park, see if they'll donate a couple tickets for free admission or in the movies. Like, I've done all those kind of things, and they'll donate it because it's a way for them to get their money out there. And they know if you come there, if you get somebody to come there, they're probably going to buy again, or they're probably going to buy something that's there, whether it's some food or something like that. So I put with the team bowling event 12,000. 10 to 12 is whatever, but 12,000 it was my number. So that's one of them easy and fun ways to do it. You know what I'm saying? So anybody got any questions? Any questions? Anybody? Any thoughts or anything? Coach Williams, I see you thinking over there, man.
Great ideas, man. Great ideas.
Cool. And this is good, I think, for you because you're an athletic director as well, man. And so you're not just one team, which you're head coach of one team, but all the teams, and raising money for you is a win-win.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And I think you guys got that bowling alley right off of there's a bowling alley over in not Fairborn. It might be in Beaver Creek. The one we used to go to one of those over there. And I think we used to do some events over there. But that's a pretty decent bowling alley. Right before you get to the 675.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so that's a great event that I would do, man. Anytime I have a team or a head coach or whatever, it's just an easy fundraiser. And honestly, you might find yourself in a place where you just got a budget. I mean, everybody's not trying to raise money. You might need a budget, but raising some money in a few of these ways might be the difference between you traveling 13 hours on a bus to a school versus flying, or not traveling on a school bus, but traveling on a charter. I mean, you can use it to make improvements in a lot of different ways. All right. Might be the difference between you having shooting machines and not having shooting machines. All right. So, by the way, some of the best shooting machines is Dr. Dish shooting machines. They've been a partner of mine in my podcast. So I just want to shout them out. I've used the machine and I've ran players through workouts. I love it. I like the machine because it shoots outlet passes. It can throw balls up and you can rebound, do rebound drills, do some crazy stuff. And I love it. So I like Dr. Dish machine. So shameless plug for my partners. All right. All right. So the next one I go to is dance teams at halftime. So this is one of the things that I did when I had my pro team. So what I would do is I always wanted halftime entertainment, but in the first few years, that's just not a line item that I was trying to spend money on. Like I was like, okay, I'm not going to pay for anybody to come in these first 2 years. I just want to get my feet wet. So I would find local dance teams, and there was a ton of them that they would come in at halftime and perform and do a great job, and the fans love it. But this is what I did, because the dance teams, of course, when you dance, you're going to have mommy, daddy, grandpa, grandma, uncle, aunt, friends, whoever. They're going to want to come to the game, okay? They're going to want to come just to see you. All right, so I'll give you an example. I had this dance team that used to do dances at like the Pro Bowl. They were local to where I was, and so they needed an opportunity to run through their routine because they were getting on the plane to go to the Pro Bowl and perform at halftime at the Pro Bowl. So I was like, why don't y'all come over and perform for, me or whatever, and for my, game day and, whatever. So I was like, cool. So what I realized was everybody's coming to see them because they're kids, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I turned it into a fundraiser. So what I did was I was like, hey, I'm going to give you guys 100 tickets. And if you need more, let me know. But I'm going to give you 100 tickets because I had 2,500 seats, so I could spare 100 tickets. I'm going to give you guys 100 tickets. And when you sell these 100 tickets, I'm going to give you half back to your organization. So I sold my regular seating tickets was $5. So that's $500. And I donated $250 back to the organization, just because we wanted to give back to organization. So it's almost like if you don't have employees or people that's, doing ticket sales or making cold calls for ticket sales, this is an idea that can help move your tickets. You know what I'm saying? So they sell 100 tickets. That's 250 for this, or for me, 250 for that organization. Win-win. And they're going to sell them because people want to come, and they want to sell them because they want to get the money donated to them. And so what I put next to this is like 2,500 for a season, because if you get 10 games, like we had 10 home games, so that's why I keep saying 10 games, and you get 250 per game, that's easy 2,500. And so people are going to be happy. And it was funny because I'll tell you this unashamedly, but it was funny because this particular dance squad, I believe it was them, there was like, I mean, they almost filled a whole side of the gym. Like, it was so many people that came. And after halftime they performed, most of the people left. So it was like they was empty on that side. I was like, oh my gosh. But, you know, the goal was made. Hey, we sold tickets. You know, they got donation. You know, we made our money. They made theirs. You know, it was all good. So that's just another idea. And that's a great fundraiser. And you can not only do that with like a dance team, but if you find like an AAU team or some kind of organization on your campus that's looking to raise some money, have them do that, because it'll help them raise money, help you raise money through ticket sales. It'll get more people in there. Plus it'll get, you know, your brand on the eyes of more people, because they're probably going to try to sell it to different people that you may not even know, or people that have never been to a game, but they're going to do it to support the organization. All right. So speaking of organizations, I didn't put this on my list, but I just want to mention this too. If you're looking for different ways, here's another way to make, you know, revenue. Make your games theme games. Every home game that you have must be a theme game or event or whatever the case. Andrew, what sport do you coach?
Wrestling.
Wrestling. You did say that. Okay, so it can be your wrestling match, your basketball. Theme it out, you know, based on your fan base or whatever, theme it out. So if it's like season opening match, okay, that's easy because it's season opener. You know what I'm saying? And you can do all kinds of stuff there. You know, if it's like a championship wrestling match, or it's one that, hey, we need this win, because if we win this, we win the championship. Basketball or whatever. So like, for instance, like Coach Williams, you know, Coach Williams, he's at Wilberforce. He was a rivalry to us. So like, we was trying to make that game big. So like on that particular game or a rivalry or something like that, and it's your home game, you make that a whiteout or a red out or whatever. You make that, or like, I'll tell you, one of the games we had, the theme was bonnets and do-rag night or something crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? But you make it something where people are going to get so hype about. Or like, for instance, I got our bookstore to donate a $500 book scholarship, and we were giving it away at halftime to somebody who made a half-court shot. So students came out from everywhere. They came out from everywhere to try to win that. You know, so you just have to mix it up and make your games like really exciting. And when you theme them up, you know, that can in turn, you know, create more revenue. You know, like if you do a whiteout, and I'm going to talk about that later. You make a whiteout shirt, official team whiteout shirt, so you can sell that now, and then you can put sponsors on the back of that. So, you know, normally you see those games and they're hype. You know, if your arena seats 2,500, that's 2,500 potential T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to hype it up. But like I say, that goes back to the building of your brand and giving people a reason to come and come there to your games. You know what I'm saying? And so you just got to build a hype. And, you know, I call it gimmicks, but you have to build the hype. You know what I'm saying? So that's the dance team thing. Okay, and here's another idea that I did. I didn't do this in association with my team, but I did it just off of being an entrepreneur. So you guys ever seen those cards that schools make? They're called like the discount cards and stuff like that. And they have like several, you know, businesses on there, or you could go to Papa John's and get 5% off or whatever. So I created one of those one time, and I was actually at a school, and I seen them have them for sale. And I was like, you know what? I could do that for my stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so I was doing the math, and I was like, okay, they're selling them for $10. And if they just give, and they were doing it school wide. Okay. So they had like 3,000 students. So they were asking for each family to sell 10 of them. to help support the school and offset tuition, whatever. So they was making some real bread. Like there was a lot of money going. 3,000 people selling 10 of them at $10. Well, that's like $300, $300,000 or something like that. I've done the math, but so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that. So I went around town, and how I pitched it, I would go to like a Wendy's or a Fazoli's or something, and I'll say, hey, I got an opportunity for some free advertising for you. I'm creating this card that's going to be used to do fundraisers for teams, this and that or whatever. Would you be willing to be on this card and offer some kind of discount? It's going to drive more revenue into your business, all that kind of stuff. So I ended up getting like 20 to 30 people to be on my card. So I went and got the card printed. It was like 83 cents to print, and I was making $9.17 on it. You know what I'm saying? So I sold them myself, but I also would go to like for instance, I went to this 8th grade, I believe it was an 8th grade program. Can't quite remember. It's been a while ago, and had them sell them and do a fundraiser for themselves. They needed shoes. You know what I'm saying? So that was just another idea. And I put a dollar amount next to this, is like $2,000. It's an easy idea, but if you got your 15 players and 5 staff members to sell 10 of them, that's $2,000, I'm sorry, for each one of them to sell 10 of them. So might have done the math wrong, but to sell 100 of them, I think it might have been. So, but that's just another way that you can build revenue by that discount card. And like I said, I put 2,000 next to it because that's where my mind was kind of floating on, based on just a target that you can go after. So yeah, that is 200, because if you sell each one of them at 10, give them 10, sell them at 10, and you give it to 20 people, that's 2,000. Okay. So, next one. Now this is an awesome one. Okay. So you can raise money for anything with this, a school, an athletic department. You can raise money for whatever, we did this idea as a part of my church, and I was one of the leaders at my church in Ohio, and we sat in a room and we prayed, and we just came up with like 100 ideas on how to generate revenue for the church, and this was one of the ideas, doing a rummage sale. Okay, so this is how we did this rummage sale. We let people know, hey, we're doing a rummage sale. At the time, we were raising money. We called it Donations for Nations. And so we were raising the money to donate to people overseas and mission trips and different things like that. So we said, what we're going to do is on this particular Saturday, we're going to have a rummage sale. If you have any furniture that's in good condition, old radio, anything that was like a furniture type piece or appliance that was like clean, new, or in good condition, it wasn't like broke up or, jacked up or anything like that, bring it in if you want to donate it, and we're going to sell it at this rummage sale, and we're going to take this money and donate it to like missions and do whatever. So like I said, you can do this for anything you want to. And so we did it on like a Saturday. The sale was from like 9 to 4. We raised $10,000 off of free items that are sitting in people's basements or garages that are in decent shape. Bring it and market it to the entire region, and people are coming and paying next to nothing for it. So that's another idea, which was a great idea. And then here's another one too. And so what we did was we had an open area, which you could probably use your gyms, and you set tables up going across. You get a drop-off zone where people can drop off items, and you lay those things out, get you a few volunteers to help work the event, get you somebody to work the cashier, and make it happen. So another one is I did a lot of these and raised about $1,500 in about 2-3 hours, is a car wash. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them simple ones that we've all probably done. So I've done a lot of those. So car wash is another one. Another thing. All right. So that's like the first hour, but I got tons of them, but I don't want to just if you guys got anything or any kind of, feedback, anything that you want to add, or maybe even talk a little bit about what you're doing. I'm on number 14. I have 31 on my list. There's more, but I'm thinking about some more as I go through it, but I have 31 of them on my list. So, we can take a little time to talk through this because we're through the first hour, but I just wanted to make sure that I answer any questions or any interaction. I definitely want to make sure that I accommodate that too. So you got.
I could just say for myself, I'm kind of just being a fly on the wall at this point. I'm pretty green. I'm pretty new to this.
Okay.
So fundraising is something that I don't have a ton of experience with. So I've been a part of some of these as a player. Now, as a coach, and I'm also just thinking about how to change these ideas in small, simple ways to kind of fit the needs of, the school I'm at and where I'm at. So
yeah.
My mind is kind of turning a lot right now, but
okay,
it's a lot of great information so far.
Okay, no problem, man. I'm glad it's blessing you a little bit, man. So, all right. So I'll go through some more, man. Like I said, we can open it up. Make some comments. I think Myron over there, Coach Williams, anything you might have, or if you have a specific situation or whatever, we can discuss that as well. That's fine too. We can kind of do a little baby brainstorming session right here. But let me keep going, and like I say, jump in at any point. The next one, practice uniform sponsors. Go ahead, Myra.
Let me jump in right now since you said specific.
Okay.
So, as far as my budget, my operating budget is fine. I don't have any issues with that. We get charters. We can travel up to 10 hours for games, things like that. I'm trying to figure out the scholarship situation. So we don't have resources to provide full scholarships within my scholarship budget.
Right.
So the things that you're speaking to, I'm trying to figure out how to use that towards the scholarship situation. But my institution is a little bit different from others. So even if I raise that money, I can't apply it to scholarships for my kids.
Gotcha.
School doesn't allow us to scholarship past institutional, the institutional rate for credits.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to figure out a creative way that's legal to still find avenues for scholarships, and that's where I'm at. So that's my specific. That's what I'm kind of looking for today, to try to get some ideas of how to do it legally, whether it's going through a booster or I can't even add money to my booster account. It has to go to my athletic director. Then the athletic director takes his cut and then puts it in my booster, but I still can't apply booster funds towards scholarships. So I'm trying to obviously rebuild the program. Scholarships have been cut going on 4 years for me, and I'm trying to solidify more talented players, but figure out a way to do it where they're not coming out of pocket or they're not having to use a student loan, to where I can incorporate that into my scholarship package. So kind of think about that as you go.
Yeah.
Back to what we can.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. So are there any permissible ways that you're able to raise money that you'll know goes directly to scholarship? Is there any ways?
That's the problem right there. So fundraising, if I do any fundraising, it's going into my operating budget.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this question. Can a scholarship be created? Meaning, and I think I might have heard this one before, to where, let's just say an alum say, you know what, I want to donate $5,000 to the basketball program. I'm going to make this into a scholarship that can be applied to room and board or academically, and so you may not be giving it from your team, but it still will apply to the total institution cost of tuition that a kid might have to pay, that it'll bring it down a little bit. Can it be applied something like that? Like, you looking at those kind of ideas?
I can do it that way. I'm just trying to figure out how to fund it each year. You get, what I'm saying? How to keep it funded, and again, the fundraising piece, I'm trying to wrap it around putting it together in that aspect, because I can create a scholarship. It's got to be so specific that it only comes to women's basketball. because if you don't put those keywords in there, anybody can apply.
Gotcha.
So regular students still apply for the scholarship, and if they qualify, they'll get it.
Makes sense. Okay. So yeah, I think I can see that being a challenge. I had to walk through a lot of that too. Um, we only had we didn't have like scholarships. We just had a dollar amount. So, what I'm saying? Like I had to, out of 15 players, I had probably the total of 3 scholarships. But, I just got creative because I wasn't gonna let it stop me. And so, um, I really pushed on the academic side, really. And a lot of my kids that came got pretty much academic full rise, and maybe a little bit they got Pell. So I kind of got real creative, but I haven't walked down the avenue that you're talking about in terms of getting creative to bring money in for scholarship. I brought money in for the things that the program was lacking, whether it's in travel or the way we ate or, equipment or gear or anything like that. So I'll keep that in mind as I go through. And of course, like the other ideas that I go through, maybe maybe some of that'll trigger something in your mind that'll get you thinking about something. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then the other thing too, excuse me. The other thing too is, I know there's some other people. Um, I talked to a JUCO coach not too long ago, and she was doing some creative ways. I think I might have mentioned you to her or her to you or whatnot. Some creative ways to fund their program, and she mentioned something to me. I can't quite remember the entire story, but she mentioned something to me that she did in JUCO, and because of the loophole she learned in JUCO, she was able to apply it to her NAIA program that she's now in, and get JUCO players that are looking to get places. So even though in her NAIA program she can't completely pay for it, there's some kind of loophole with JUCO players that she was able to bring those kids in and get them like reduced costs or something like that. So, maybe if you write that down and you want to know more about it, I can connect the two of you. But that was an idea that I thought was pretty interesting. Um, and I'm trying to think of anything else along those lines. But yeah, that's a good one right there, man. So I'll go through some more, and hopefully some of these will trigger some things, and then we can talk about it further as well. All right, so let's go to the next one. So you got things like anything, and I got down here practice uniform sponsors, but anything that you have visible to the public, like practice uniforms, like a lot of teams, like especially college teams for sure. It really depends on how visible you are. So like I know for our practice, some of our practices, there was always people in our practices, whether there was pro scouts, whether it was supporters, or a lot of times we might have like donors come into our practices. Like they're always there. So, and then we took pictures in practice. There was videos cut from practice, social media content cut from practices. So we were able. Now I didn't do this. I didn't end up doing this, but this is an idea that I really had and wanted to do, is putting, sponsors on your practice uniforms. Now I know like in college and maybe in high school, there might be different sanctions that go against being able to do that, whether it's the conference rules or NCAA, whatever. I know the NBA is doing it now, but take advantage of that real estate on your jerseys, your warm-ups, pullovers, and put sponsors on there. So I see a lot of practice uniforms, especially at the pro level, that have it. I haven't seen it at college, but the pro level. So maybe that's something that you can implement into your school or check on, that, hey, now every time they see you on game day or even in practice, you have their logo representing them. So a lot of the NFL teams do it. I've seen, I think some of the CFL teams in Canada do it on their practice uniforms. I think even some of the MLS teams. So, that's something to look into, because like I say, you're going to get a lot of footage, and especially if you do something on purpose where you're always showing things, whether you have a practice report, like the Lakers, they used to have a practice report I used to watch all the time. You know what I'm saying? I watched it because I wanted to see what the players were talking about. I wanted to see the behind the scenes. So people are always looking. So that's just another idea that I put down here, $5,000. You can get sponsors enough on your uniforms, your practice uniforms. You can shoot it up to $5,000. And with that package, like a lot of this stuff, if you have teams with these packages to make it sweeter, like especially if you're asking for an ask like $5,000 or 2 sponsors at $2,500, throw season tickets for 5 people from their company, that they can use interchangeably. Do things like that, or courtside seat, a couple courtside seats or something like that. That's something that I did. With like the courtside seats, I packaged a lot of stuff. So it wasn't just the money. They would be recognized on the website. They would get so many season tickets. Maybe the CEO of that company would be able to do the jump ball or sit on the bench or something like that. People feel special when you do that kind of stuff. So, any of this stuff I'm talking about, you can package it out and make it sweeter. Throw something in there that for you doesn't cost anything, but for them, it's like, oh my gosh, I get to sit on the bench. Well, all that's costing you is an extra chair. You know what I'm saying? And pull an extra chair up. You know what I'm saying? So easy stuff like that. So the next one, wrap your team vehicles, or like if you're an AD, like Coach Williams, you're an AD. Like, if you got a vehicle from the university that's issued to you, or the school, or even if it's your own vehicle, if you're really like adamant about making sure what you do is taken care of, get that team vehicle wrapped. You know what I'm saying? By a company that is going to sponsor it and do it for you. Or you get it wrapped and pitch it to them so they can pay you. You can do it either way. You can do it as a trade, or you can do it as a straight up sponsorship. So you can ride around with your team vehicle wrapped. I'm here in Northwest Indiana, Chicago area, and they have a baseball team called the Gary Railcats. And I see that car, whoever drives that car, it looks like a regular person's car. It's a Ford, like one of those Ford Tauruses, those like basic cars, but like classic company car. Well, they have it wrapped with the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? The logo, big cat on the side like that, 4 tickets, call this number, and then on the bumper is the website. You know what I'm saying? So you can ask somebody for that for $5,000. You can get that $5,000 because now everywhere you go, they're gonna see that. That's not only your fans, but just anybody wherever the car goes. Like that's very powerful. So that's one of the things you can do. Also, if it's not directly reflecting your sport, and you do it for your school or somebody in the school, another program, pitch the idea to them and get a cut from it to go to your program. So that's just another idea there too. Another thing is team camps. So I know like Coach Williams, Coach Andrew, I'm not sure like if you guys do wrestling camps or stuff like that or whatever. Coach Myron, team camp, you know what I'm saying? Like, you do a team camp and you charge $100. So when I was at D1, we would charge team camp. You charge more, but when you have an elite camp, you charge $100 per. Team camp, you might do like $500 per team or something like that. So if you do a team camp, you can make $10,000. Very simple. Let's just say let's just lowball it and say you're going to have so many teams and you're going to charge $100 per head. Let's say you have 50 people that's involved. That's $5,000 right there. Now you can get sponsors for it. So I always advocate the sponsor because you'll get people that sign up. I mean, everybody wants to play sports or be in college sports. They want to get looked at by coaches. So $100 is pretty much nothing for you to go and get a good workout, get some good instruction. Maybe on your lineup you have 2 of the top wrestlers ever come out of the area or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Somebody to come and speak at lunch, or some alums from Wilberforce that were a part of the championship team or whatever. You sweeten it up so they're like, oh, $100? Oh yeah. And maybe you even throw in lunch. You get the local pizza place to trade off some pizzas for a sponsor on the, I think I got Papa John's one year to give so many pizzas to my camp, and I had the camp was presented by Papa John's, and they gave us like $200 worth of pizzas or something. You could trade that kind of stuff off, and especially for anything dealing with youth. All right, and so team camp, you can $10,000 easy, and then especially your elite camps. that easily, 50 people. That's not even to say if you get more, if you run it 2 days, or you get sponsors for the event, and then you get sponsors for the camp t-shirt that you're going to give out. All right. So, and a lot of times, people will do it because they want to donate. They want to donate, another way that I was able to get funds off of that, because I was able to reach out to a lot of people and say, hey, we have this camp. Would you be willing to sponsor a kid to come to this camp that otherwise could not come? So I had a lot of kids that's like, we just don't have it. Our family doesn't have it. So I would reach out to a business person or a company that would donate that 100 to support the kid that couldn't pay for the camp, and couple them together. So it was able to help us in our attendance. So the team camps, the elite camps, pro workouts, combines, anything of that nature, per event, you can make at least 10 grand. And all you're really doing is you're running a camp, giving instruction, maybe inviting a person in, giving them a few hundred to speak, have your players there running the camp for you, helping them run the camp. Simple kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun, but it's just an easy way to generate revenue for your team. So another one is a coaching clinic. So you can run a wrestling coaching clinic, a basketball coaching clinic. You can have your coaches featured, have some other coaches featured, some local coaches, area coaches, maybe a coach that's from your area that went pro. Make the lineup real sweet. Charge $50 for a Saturday morning and afternoon clinic. You know what I'm saying? I went to a clinic at Athletes in Action one time. Derek, you probably know when I'm talking about a coach's clinic there. And we had to pay like $50, but it was a lot of coaches there. And Avery Johnson was there, Clark Kellogg. It was several other people too, but it was sweet. It was worth $50. And we had a session from I think it might have went 9 to 11:30. And then we picked back up at 12 and went from 12 to 3. But they made a nice little piece of change. You know what I'm saying? And it was fun. It was easy for them to do. They just had the guys speak on their experiences. We took notes. They gave us some little, I wanted to say trapper keepers. That's aging me right there. Trapper keeper. But, you know what I'm saying? Notebooks and pencils. And they provided like juice and cookies and donuts. So it's like one of those easy things to do, and it shows like your community, and I guess your community of your wrestling community, your basketball community. It's a show of appreciation too, because people are always trying to learn. And so if you spearhead something like that from your school or institution or your program, man, it's taken very well and it's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? So any kind of coaches clinics or anything like that. And like I say, what really drives it is, you get a lineup of people, you know what I'm saying? Like for you, Coach Williams, you might have yourself speaking, or Coach Mitchell, grab somebody from maybe Central or Cedarville or Dayton, you got Wright State. It's a lot of schools around there, and you getting that kind of lineup, you guys are at the coaches level. So imagine how many high schools are around there, which we know there's a lot, from Columbus to Springfield to Dayton. You're in that tri-state area, Cincinnati, Middletown. Everywhere you can turn. People probably come as far as like Richmond, Indiana, or all the way through Lima, and you throw that thing out there, man. And it's got tons of high schools, you know what I'm saying? So just something like that, it just can generate some revenue for you, but you're still doing a good thing to sow back into the community of your sport, but it's bringing revenue too. Another thing is, if you don't have a dance team or anything like that, do some kind of dance team. You could charge for tryouts. You could do a clinic in the summer where if you have a dance team, imagine how many little girls, or if it's a guy dance team out there, how many of them will want to come and be a part of a clinic, because you got the college age girls or fellas, because you got the cheerleading guys that do things and pick people up and all that kind of stuff. Who wouldn't want to come and learn about that or be a part of those who are already doing it? You know what I'm saying? So you could do something like that. And then if you have your dance team, you could do that similar to a team where you get sponsors for the dance team and create a calendar, all that kind of stuff. So I put like $5,000 on that, because you could really build that as a brand. And we see some of those, like I've really studied the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they have the Cavs girls. They have a hip hop dance team, which I had. So you can really trick it out. And, in studying some of the Cowboys, they're like brands. Those dance teams are brands now. So that's just something that you can really look into and build something like that for yourself. Another one is like a bake sale or a bake auction. That's just something easy to do to just get some extra spending money for your program. And we did it for our program at church and made $1,500 on a Sunday afternoon. You get people say, hey, we're trying to raise some money for our program. Would you be willing to bake a cake and donate it, or bake some cookies or buy some cookies and donate it? And then we come in there and we had an auctioneer come in like, this nice 7-Up cake. Would you buy it for 100? Going for 100? You know how they do. And and they do it, knowing that they're donating to our youth program. So you could do that for a team. And it's a real simple way to get people on board so that, hey, you do this, you donate this, we'll give you 2 free tickets to the game, whatever, package it up. So people will normally do it. People will normally do it without anything in advance, in return. So that's another idea that I've been a part of. Another one is to have some kind of club. So for instance, like when I was at the D1 level, we had the Eagle Club, because that was our mascot at the D1 level. So, with that club, you can say, hey, for $100, you'll get 2 season tickets. You'll get soda and a popcorn at every game, and you'll be able to come into this room that before every game, one of the coaches will come in and brief you about their pregame report. So like just something special. That what I explained is exactly what we did, almost to the T, maybe with the exception of the popcorn or whatever. 2 season tickets. They got some kind of like newsletter every month. And they got to go into this room. We call it the Eagle Room before every game. And one of the assistant coaches would go in and talk about the game and what was coming up. And then that was it. But it makes them feel special. And so you get 50 people to do that at $100. It's $5,000, And so we had people sign up for the Eagle Club. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one of those other ideas that you could just sweeten up your program or every sport if you're an AD. Or take these ideas. Like these are ideas, but they're meant to just get your mind going. Start thinking. Like you can use the same idea. You might be able to tweak it based on your community or your institution community, and use it. There's a lot of ideas out here just to make money. Another one that I tried to get going when I was at Central, but I didn't quite get it, but it's a great idea, I think, is do you a travel caravan. So for instance, let's say Wilberforce, you got Kentucky State. You know what I'm saying? You got Kentucky State, or your men's program, y'all playing Georgetown down in Kentucky. So it's a big game. You want to go beat them because, everybody talk about the men's program at Georgetown. So we want to go get this win, but we need our fans down there. So what we do is a lot of times you can get a good charter bus that seats like 50 people. I think might have one time that I priced it out. It might have been about $2,500. Not quite sure the pricing anymore. It's been a while now. But so what you do is you say, hey, we got 50 people. You can travel to the game with us. So you get a charter bus, 50 people. The cost to travel is $100. Now, what this $100 is going to get you is your ride there and back, your ticket. It might get you a t-shirt that we're going to wear. Plus, it's going to get you a meal, like a snack. And then it's going to get you dinner after the game, which you can get with a sponsor to provide those box dinners or whatever that you can bring with you, and they'll get those after the game on the ride back. So it's a 2-hour drive or something like that. So you can package that up real nice. You can make about $2,500 off of something like that. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how you do it, So your expenses are going to be around $2,500. You're getting $5,000 from 50 people that's paying $100. And they're having a great time. Maybe they get to talk to the team after the game, or the team comes and greet them on the bus before they roll out, or whatever. You package it up real good to where $100 is not a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh man, I'll gladly do that. Because if you drove yourself, You're going to pay for gas. You know what I'm saying? You got to drive. You know what I'm saying? And so you take all that away and make it an experience. So the state wrestling tournament, maybe one of your wrestlers makes it. So you do something like that, you know? So you'll get, I mean, you might get fans, you might get teachers, parents that want to drive. I mean, you could easily, do something like that. So that's just another idea. So now the other idea that I mentioned was your theme game. So some of my favorite games to do when I was a pro owner was the theme games, the color games. So our colors were red, white, and blue. So we would have a blue out, red out, white out. Like we do all of them. So each one of those shirts, like I say, could carry at least 25 sponsors. So I know there's a lot of sponsors if you try to do a lot of these, but sometimes they'll repeat. And sometimes you might need to reach out to different ones. I mean, I got a hold of, like I was in the Chamber of Commerce. I was actually on the board of the Chamber of Commerce where I had my pro team. So I had a lot of access to a lot of different business owners, and there were so many businesses, you know what I'm saying? Like more than you can count. And a lot of businesses have $100 that they want to give you. So by the time you lay these ideas out and say you're doing 3 shirts a year, you got to find 75 businesses that'll give you $100. That's $7,500, And then you turn around and sell the shirts. Like, hey, we're expecting 2,500 people to be at this game. That's like a potential 2,500 t-shirts. Let's say you sell a 4 of that. You're looking at 400 shirts. I mean, sell them at $20 a piece. You know what I'm saying? Let's do the math, So it's a lot of ways that you could do things on that theme night, the t-shirt night. You know what I'm saying? So, you could do, like I said, you could do one for every color that is in your logo, blue out, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So those are just a couple ideas. A blackout, like one of my favorite, and I know they made a ton of money when they did this. I'm not sure if you guys remember about 2-3 years ago when Ohio State first went with those black uniforms and had those black helmets. And it was a blackout, and it was the first, like one of the first night games in the horseshoe. Like I'm talking about people that I didn't even know was talking about the game. Like, oh, it's a blackout, we try to go, man, people will come and they're not even trying to go watch the game, but it's just a blackout. We're all together. Everybody be wearing black, So it's just one of those things. It works, So another thing is, if you have the kind of arena or gymnasium where you can fit court-side seating, like you might see a lot of colleges have court-side seating, some don't. When I had my pro team, I was able to add court-side seating, or in anybody's terms, it could be premium seating. So something different from what the regular fans are getting, you can always upcharge that. So my regular seats were $5, but my court-side seats were $10. And so it was simply something that I inquired about because I'm like, man, I'm a pro team. All these other pro teams got courtside. Let me have courtside. So I asked the venue. They had some kind of special seating, like seats that I could use. And I got 80 of them, like comfortably around an NBA arena or NBA floor, which is 94 feet. College floor is 94 feet. I could comfortably get 80 seats around it. And I got my count from the Los Angeles Lakers because I pulled up a picture of the Staples Center, an empty Staples Center, and I counted the seats. So I was like, let me see what they're doing. So I figured it out. And so I would sell courtside seats for $10. So, you're thinking like an extra 80 seats. If you sell those out, that's $10 per seat for 80. That's $800. 10 home games, that's a potential $8,000. So I implemented that myself, man. And so it gave me just an extra flow of a revenue just by being creative. So that's another one. Another one too that really doesn't have a dollar amount next to it, but you can do it, is create a team Cash App or a donation link. I have a donation link on my website, lewissean.com. And you just never know. Like sometimes when you're giving out things or doing things, or sometimes what you do might touch somebody in a way that you don't know it touched them. And they might just want to show their appreciation by giving. But if you don't have an option for them to give, then they can't give. Because a lot of people sometimes aren't going to say, they will, but sometimes they won't say, hey, Andrew, man, that really blessed me, man. That event was just amazing, man. Your wrestlers are really good. I just want to do something for you. Can I give you this $100? It might happen like that. But if you had something on the website where people go all the time because they're trying to see the schedule and they see donate, they're like, okay, more opportunity for more people to see it. I know athletic departments do it because we did it at Central. We had a kind of like a portal where we did it, and people would go donate all the time. So that's just another idea. Or even with you, Coach Myron, with the scholarship situation, you may need to find a creative way to put it out there to, I guess, in a permissible, cordial, nice sounding way. More like, I want to say it like this, so please forgive me, lack of better words, in a way that you're not begging or something like that, where it's like a professional kind of way. You might want to put out there your situation. So you may have to figure out the wording for that, but to where people will see it like, you know what? Okay, I see what they're talking about. Hey, how you doing? I'm Joe Smith, and I saw your post. Hey, always wanted to do a scholarship, and I have $5,000 that I want to give per year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be a way that you can put it out there for people to know. Or, like I said, with the building the alumni database, to all the people that's ever played in that program, all the people that's ever coached in that program, teachers, everybody, and say, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. We're trying to form a scholarship. Would you be willing to be a donor for the next 5 years and pledge to donate a certain amount per year? And then people might say, you know what? I don't have a lot, but I'll give 10 per year. I'll give 20 per year. Hey, I went to that school and I loved it. I'll give 500 per year. So you get 10, 20, 30, 100, 250 donors pitching in, 10 here, 500 there, 1,000 here. Somebody real generous to say, I'm just going to give a one-time donation of 5,000. I believe in what you're doing. And then you look up, and for the next 5 years, you got pledged $50,000. So maybe you do something creative like that specifically meets your needs, and now it adds scholarship money to your bottom line. Now you can go out and get some more players. So I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. That made me think about that. But creating a team cash app, creating a GoFundMe, which is just free money. You know what I'm saying? A donation link, GoFundMe for certain items, for whatever it might be. I mean, there are too many resources out here to be in a program. And I understand the specific situation with you, Myron. You got to approach that differently. But I'm talking about just in any other kind of things where it's just a monetary issue. It's not like a scholarship, because that kind of goes through different streams and governing bodies. That's different. But anything else you need money for, the way you travel, your gear, the players haven't had new jerseys in 10 years, or the wrestling helmets, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like anything you might need, you want to be upgraded with. TVs in locker room, new locker room. Let me say something about the locker room. Now, here it is. I love this stuff, y'all. Okay. So I went down to a school near Central State because I really believe in, like, as a player, your players ought to feel good. And then your recruits, when you bring them through campus, like, you shouldn't have to skip out on certain parts of your facility because there's water leaks or anything like that. And so, I believed wholeheartedly. And so I really went to great lengths at both institutions I was at. I mean, the locker rooms were decent. I'm not saying anything wrong about any of those places, but there was just different things that I wanted to see that, for me as a player, I thought was really sweet. Like, man, I got TV in the locker room. Like, I had players at my institutions, the locker room was kind of like their place of refuge where they go and just relax between classes, or they might want to come in early or anything like that. So it should look sweet. Like, I can remember going to places like Louisville and Kentucky and walking through their locker rooms, and they got leather chairs from Ashley's that you could still smell the new leather. And just, man, it's like a different world when you go in there. It's like, man, this is, woo, like, they put some thought into it. It's like, so coming through there as a recruit, it's like, this is where I'm going, And so for stuff like that, wrestling locker rooms, whatever it might be, it's like there's things you can do. I remember watching a video on YouTube, and you guys could check this out, where Dwayne Wade was working in conjunction with Gatorade, and they did a locker room makeover after halftime. So they did a locker room makeover after halftime, that the locker room was done by the time the game was over. So when the players came in at halftime, the locker room was still this old locker room, whatever. As soon as they went back out the doors, man, they had people coming in like extreme makeover. They was tearing stuff out, moving stuff out, and then they put stuff in. You know what I'm saying? They was making stuff happen, putting carpet down. And when they came back, man, the locker room was done. You know what I'm saying? But like there's sponsors that you can get for that. I remember going to a college that redid their locker room, and I got to talking to them like, how did they get their locker room done? They said before their locker room was done, they had like an open house to where they had graphics and pictures of what they want their locker room to look like. And they brought in, if I'm correct, if I can remember correctly, like donors, alums, different people through there just to show them the vision of it. So when they walked through and looked at it, they said one of the donors was like, how much do you need for this? And they were like, we need about 50,000. He wrote a check right there and gave it to him. You know, so if people don't know your vision or don't know, or if you don't set up things like open houses to on purpose walk people through and have placards or, you know, things, you know, maybe like those things on different stanchions around the locker room or the arena that's showing the arena. And while they're trying to figure out what seat they want to purchase or whatever, they walk past this board and it shows, hey, renovation, looking to renovate by this year, and this is what it'll look like. Spend a few $100s and get somebody to mock up something and then show everybody that you know, because they might ask you that question that they asked my buddy at the school. He's at a Division II school. Say, how much do you need to renovate this? 50,000. Wrote him a check right there and gave it to him. So you have to open yourself up to those opportunities, especially if you're looking for finances in certain things, wrestling uniforms, whatever it might be. Let people know what you're trying to go after. And sometimes people have money to just spend. Like, it may not seem like it, but there are people that just want to just do good and just give. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go on GoFundMe sometimes and I'm looking at certain things, and you know, you might have things on there like, and I'm making this up, but there are some things on there that's kind of crazy, like get my cat a haircut or something. You know what I'm saying? And people are donating to it. I mean, you know, it's a lot of stuff on there I've seen. I'm like, man, if they can raise that much for like a whatever they're trying to raise, I know I can raise it for what I'm trying to do. So that's just another idea, man. And then you know, you do your sponsorship package. So like I created like a PowerPoint of different levels. So like I had a title sponsor, then I had like a sponsorship or level under that. So you might have your top sponsor at 10,000, and they're going to get their name on everything: website, press releases, flyers. They're going to get a logo on the floor. You know what I'm saying? You make a nice package that is a too good to offer type of thing where they can't resist it. And $10,000, you know, name on the jersey. You know, every time we mention in the media, you know, you might see like a school like a Michigan where I believe when you go on their site, it's not like head coach Jawan Armour. It's like the Marianne and Julie Smith head coach Jawan Armour, because they donated some money to be right there. You know what I'm saying? Or the Derek Williams memorial locker room or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean to put memorial, that ain't the right word, I'm sorry. But, you know what I'm saying? You know, some kind of scholarship or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like the Derek Williams Foundation locker room or whatever, that kind of thing. So you can always pitch that kind of stuff and put it in a package to where you send it out. And I'm telling you, I've raised thousands of dollars by sending a package out and sending it over email to like every email I can find of every business within like a 50-mile radius or something like that. And you'll get a lot of people. Some people you got to follow up to get them to do it. Some people you just might have to call and then go meet with them. But some people will say, hey, where do I send the check? And they go send the check. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had it happen, you know? So, you know, you can put a dollar amount on there. For me, it was like 10 grand total, you know? If I got a big sponsor, great. You know, first year, maybe second year, maybe I'd get it, you know, but try to shoot for like 10 grand there. And then here's another thing. If you produce some kind of media that you put on your social media every week, so maybe it's like some kind of episode, um, behind the scenes, or like some kind of hoop scoop, Wilberforce presents, or St. Thomas University presents, behind the scenes, or inside scoop, or whatever, presented by boom, Dr. Dish, or presented by whatever, Jiffy Lube. You know what I'm saying? They probably won't, maybe some kind of sporting goods store. So you could target people that are directly related to the sport that you're in, Spalding or whatever. And they know that you get so many viewers, you're going to show this so many times, once a week or whatever, and you're going to send this out to everybody that's subscribed to your email list, and you have 1,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things speak to sponsors, because they're trying to get people's eyes on their logos. And so if they have a way that's a sure way that, hey, you already got 1,000 people that you get this email to, okay, I'm a that's better than me just putting a little sign on my window and hoping that people see it. You know what I'm saying? So they like that kind of stuff. So I put $2,500 on that. You can easily pitch that, but like I say, a lot of those bigger amounts come when you build your brand. People got to know that you don't just have a wrestling program, but it's something about that wrestling program. It's excellent. Their kids got 4.0s. They're making it to state, or they're some of the nicest young men. They always come in and say hello, or whatever it is. When they come to this restaurant as a team after they get off the road, they always leave it clean, or whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying? That earmarks, what makes your program different from everybody else's. I want to give that program some money. You are your brand. And it's the last one I got on here, and then we can kind of talk for a few minutes. There's a whole lot more, but I listed, these are the ones I listed. If you have a venue, and this is probably really good for your basketball venues, or where you do your soccer, wherever you have fans, we call them stall buddies, or stall backers, or whatever. So people are going to use the restroom. Okay. So if it's a urinal, they're going to be facing that wall that's sitting right there in front of that urinal. Or when they go to the toilet, when they close the door, they're going to be looking at that door. They're going to be looking at something. So, you know what I'm saying? Why not have something there from a sponsor? And this idea I took really off of, I think the last time I went to the Carolina Panthers game. And they got stuff all over the walls. Like when you go in there, you can't use the restroom good because there's something right there in front of you. Whether it's a Wendy's, after the game, visit Wendy's right across the street for $5 off your value meal, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you can sell that, because as many people as coming into your venue, they got to eat after the game. They might want to go grab some food. You know what I'm saying? Sports builds an appetite, and they might eat your hot dogs that you're selling there, but they might want to go sit down at dinner at Applebee's down the street. So you target those people around there, and you get some kind of flyer or create something that you can put right there. So when they're coming in and out of their restroom, when they're using it, when they're at the urinal, when they're at the sink, you know what I'm saying? Might be a mirror there, but you might have a spot for a little advertisement or something. They can look at that. And if you got fans coming, you could get this. So I put like $2,500 on that, because if you really have a brand and you've built your stuff, or the number of things, or the package you present them, you could easily say $2,500 for the 2022 season, 2022 season. So yeah, man, that's like the ideas, man, that I wanted to kind of go through. I know it was a lot, but we got about 10 minutes. So if you guys want to talk through anything, or you got anything in your programs that you might want to mention again or whatnot, let's take this time to do so, and then I won't hold you guys. I'll let you enjoy your Saturday.
I know I can't remember which specific idea you were talking about, but it made me remember one that as a player at my college, in a football locker room, alumni could purchase a permanent placard that went inside the locker. So it's kind of their locker. Mm-hmm. They put a pretty steep price point on it, but for me, I kind of like that idea because it was kind of cool because inherently as a player, you look at it, you Google them, you look them up. Like, who is this dude? Who is this guy? And I think the selling point that it was permanent probably made it kind of, people could get that locker for, whether it was their number or position, that stuff moves around. But something like that could be cool, and it could be even just a temporary one, some type of deal. I think looking into the high school partnerships, like you said, even at the lower level, I think it's something that at a lower price point could be, it's a way to connect alumni to current athletes as well.
Mm-hmm. No, that's really good, especially with the alums. That's like you said, that's another way of connecting them back to the program, and they're willing to give because of that. I mean, I've even seen, I want to say this, I'm trying to think if this is accurate, but I think I've seen the where that goes directly to the locker room renovation. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that kind of stuff is amazing, man. Like it's unlimited when you come to that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're pretty much showcasing the alums, and then players get hyped. It's like, oh man, I only had 3 people wear number 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the 4th person to wear number 11. Whatever. So, yeah, I think that's really cool, man. And the locker room stuff is man, listen, I'm passionate about that more than a lot of things because I remember going to I was at Western Kentucky one evening. I was up there with what's the other one? Athletes in Action, FCA. I was there at FCA, and we went over there one night to tour the arena. Their arena was super sweet, but I go in the locker room, and I'm telling you, like, if you don't spend no time this offseason trying to figure out how to do anything, try to make your locker room sweeter because it just has an impact, man. That's like one of them places people want to see. So I went into Western Kentucky, probably one of the best ones I've seen thus far. And like they don't nearly have the facilities like a Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? But they have a nice facility though. Like, so you go in the locker room and you flip the light, and there's this light show that goes do 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 do, and then the lights come on real low and come up. And those lights that go around and flash, there's a border between each locker, like a little pillar. And in the middle of that pillar is like a glass case, and it has one of their championship rings in it. And it lights the championship rings up, and then it comes up like that. And I'm telling you, I was like, man, that is tight. Like, I mean, but it said something though. Like, it just spoke something, man. And so, whatever ideas you can do to just sweeten it up. Sometimes it's going to a carpet company that's local and having them donate new carpet. And sometimes we're thinking like it's money, but like a lot of times you could trade stuff, man. Like trade. Like I said, with my team, $150,000 budget, I ran it on 60. I traded like $90,000 of stuff. Like, I didn't pay for commercials. I didn't pay for marketing. I didn't pay for radio time. Like, I gave them tickets to call out on air and give away. That's how I got marketing time. There's just different things, So, before you think about like, money definitely helps. A lot of things, money that I went through. But when you find that you don't have the money to do certain things, look at trading it out. What do you have that somebody else needs? And what do you have that somebody else needs? And what do they have that you need? And try to trade that thing off. But those are some of the ideas I went over, man. It's just good, simple ideas. Sometimes you just have to implement them and write a letter on the school letterhead and send it out. And people will be willing to do it, and you won't know until you try it. I mean, I know it sounds good now, and y'all might be thinking that too, but I'm telling you, like, 90% of those I've done. Some of the other ones I haven't gotten to yet, but I learned or I've seen in action, So, anything else you might want to share or talk about concerning this stuff? We got about 5 minutes, It's a passion of mine, man. Like, I really do. I was just thinking about stuff I can do for coaches, and it spills over to ADs or anybody that's fundraising. You can do a lot of these ideas cross genre. It's not just a sport thing, but I got a lot of my examples from sports because I've been in sports. So yeah, man, I hope you guys got some stuff out of this and enjoyed it, man. I know, like, Coach Williams, man, you got several teams over there. So that's like, I mean, you could really probably, you could do a lot of these for each team, you got alumni base for each team, so yeah, man. So, uh, but yeah, man. So if you guys got any more questions, we got a few minutes and, or talk about it, whatever, I'm open, any kind of questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this audio. I'm going to upload it to YouTube and, I'll have that available for you guys as well as, a PDF. I'm just going to list all the things that, I talked about in there so you can just have a quick reference to look at them. Hopefully it jog your memory or you can use it or whatever. And if any of you guys looking for any consultants, to work with your program, man, I'd love to work further and help you implement these things like create sponsor letters, create the PDFs of the levels of sponsorship levels you need to send out or brainstorm in any way. So, let me know, reach out to me for that. Like I said, I have a lot of years in doing it, especially with my pro team, because I had to pay my players, I had to pay my coach, you know what I'm saying? It was a real deal. So it's kind of how I live. I got to live by it. You have to make money. I had to pay my venue. I had to pay TV bill, league fees. I mean, everything, you know what I'm saying? So it's travel. So it had to happen. So it was kind of like I was the bottom line. I had to make it happen, you know what I'm saying? So in college, sometimes you might be able to rest on the budget of the school and what they're giving you, but sometimes you may not even have that budget, or you might need to make money because you need to get things for the program. So like I say, man, this stuff, it works, man. And, people won't know unless you let them know. You let them know your needs, man, and find a creative way to let them know. Like I say, that alumni base, man, if I could tell any coach, any coach, man, I'm telling you, I'll give you an example. And I won't hold you guys past this one, but I got to D1 and there was nothing in place. I reached out to a lot of the alums. I had alums in the same city that I would reach out to, and they were like, man, I've never heard from anybody from the program. They've been graduated for like several years. I've never heard from anybody. It's such a pleasure to hear from somebody. And they were like a lawyer or something, you know what I'm saying? Another alum had their own physical therapy facility. You know what I'm saying? Nobody never reached out to them. So I'm like, man, so after showing them some love, reaching out, congratulating them on things that they've accomplished in their life, maybe saying happy birthday, just easy stuff that doesn't cost you anything. A happy birthday to your conference player of the year that was with you 2 years ago. It will go a long way. And at the end of that, they were like, what do you guys need? If you need anything, please let me know. Like, it's just a knee-jerk trigger reaction. It happens. So, like, if I could say anything, if you don't get anything off of this, build your alumni base, because it's going to connect you to people that you know and people you don't know. I mean, I think I had one time like a 60, 70-year-old lady that I reached out to that was alum way back, but I had a chance to talk to her. You just never know. Never know. She might have some endowment fund money or something, whatever, I mean, you just gotta do it. Everybody that wrestled at your school since the program started, man, make it your responsibility to reach out to them. Even if it's just a hello, I'm the coach over here at my school. Just want to reach out to you, say hello, introduce myself to you. Just let you know I appreciate all you've done in the program. You were a part, for the 2 years you were a part of, the 4 years you were a part of what we did. And I just want to make sure I acknowledge that and say thank you so much. If you ever need anything, you want to come to the game, please let me know. That gives you an A+ grade for today. I promise you, because now they remember that somebody thought enough about me to where it's been 20 years since I wrestled, but they thought about me to call me. You know what? Hey, what can I do for you guys? Need some uniforms or something? Oh, matter of fact, I know this bus company. We're going to give you a charter bus or whatever. I mean, you just never know. You kind of open up what's behind door number 1 or door number 2. You don't know until you make that easy, free phone call that doesn't cost you anything, just to introduce yourself. So if I don't say anything else, I encourage you guys in this off season before the season starts, man, try to talk to every person that's ever been in your program before you was born. As far as you can go back, go find them and make a quick phone call. I mean, we always talking to recruits anyway. Call some of them because they might help pay for some recruits or whatever, or give you some more recruiting money to go out, or go on trips or take your wrestling team to amusement park, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if you don't do anything else, establish that, because I'm telling you that carries a little something with it. And then it also helps you because now when you go to other cities, when we went to Atlanta to play Clark and Morehouse, we got a whole alumni base down there. So we pump it up, get the information out to him. We playing down there. It's alums in the stands. We got a crowd on the road. You know what I'm saying? We ain't singled out. We got some people here too. Let's win this game. It's just, Coach Derek, Hugh Douglas played in the NFL. He was at our game. He came out to the game. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it just means a whole, it just hit different. You know what I'm saying? It hits different. So when you make them kind of tie-ins, it's worth more than money, man. It's worth more than money. I'm telling you. And it'll bring money too. So money, recruits, opportunities. It might be linked to your next job. You just never know. You know what I'm saying? So it can do a lot of stuff. So that's all I have, fellas. And ladies that are listening, because we got some people that'll be listening to this recording. So you got any questions, you feel free to ask me. If you want to reach out to me, ask me. But other than that, I hope this has been a blessing to you guys. And boy, I tell you, I'm not coaching right now, but listen, opportunity ever comes about, I want them to hear about the efforts that we're doing over in Europe. Like, what are they doing over there at that school? My gosh, like, that's how hard I'm gonna go after it. It's gonna be something to, be heard about. And so I hope that you guys will take it and just, man, run with it, man. Just like I'm telling you, if money's ever been an issue in your program, from this day forward, don't let it be an issue. Like, get creative, use these ideas, use other ideas, man. But push it. And I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of people. I mean, I've been D1 level, D2. It's a lot of people ain't doing this stuff. Even the simple stuff, they not doing it. But I hear so many people say, we ain't got no money. We can't renovate our locker room. They ain't doing nothing for us. They ain't giving us no money at this school. I ain't waiting for nobody to give me no money. I'm going to get it myself. Because on my watch, we going to have the best stuff around here. You look at places like Kentucky, and it's like a big example. But when I went down there, they got a whole fund, an athletic fund, just to fund the athletic program. So they not even taking money from the university. They got their own fund. Excuse me, we don't need y'all money. We Kentucky athletics. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they doing it big. And so, like, it's a great example. Like, I went down there, when I was there, and they ain't even that far from where you at, Coach Derek. It's like, man, it's so many. Listen, in Central Ohio, where we were, where he is, there's so many D1s and stuff around there in driving distance, man. I used to stay in them gyms. Like, man, I'm telling you, it's so, you just see what they doing. Cincinnati, you know how they done rebuilt everything. Like, I was all down there, trying to figure out what y'all doing, So it's just a plethora of ideas wherever you are, any kind of organization, institutions, D1s. It ain't even got to be sports. Just go find out what they doing and learn how to duplicate it within what you do. I've been a big stickler of that, man. So yeah, man, that's, I hope this has been a blessing to you guys, man. I love this stuff, man. It's just like, when you see what people are doing and how simple it is. And here's the thing, like places like Kentucky and Louisville, they got them big facilities and standalone practice facilities. But that brand, it's a university. It's a prestigious university, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot going into building that brand. But you can start where you are and build yours. And like a place like, for instance, where you are, Coach Derek, man, if people know about the name of your institution all over the place. So like when I say I coached at, Ohio, I was at Central, whatever. Oh, that's by Wilberforce. Oh yeah, yeah. Man, everybody know. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got a whole lot of work to do. You just got to bring yours together, you know. But just starting where you are and just letting it wrestling program. You know, I'm not quite sure about your accomplishments that you had there or the history or is this one of the top, but make it the top. You know, go and figure out what the state champion for the last 5 years been doing and learn about their program, what they're doing, so you can do what they're doing and find out what they're not doing too. It's always a benefit in coming last because you know what everybody else done now. So now I can cheat code, what they call it in high school, cliff notes. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's it, man. That's it, man. Like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm having a hard time cutting it off because I feel like I'm just getting fired up. But yeah, man, you know, feel free to reach out to me if you got any more questions, man. Like I said, I'll get this stuff to you guys. I'm gonna work on it. Hopefully get this audio cut. It's like a 2-hour clip, so it's a little different. I'm gonna have to go through it myself and make sure it's good and all that. So y'all don't get something that's silent. You know what I'm saying? And you know, type of things out on PDF. I'll get these things to you in the next few days. So if y'all ain't got no more questions, man, that's all I got. And hope you guys enjoyed.